Would you like to introduce yourself?
Certainly, my name's Stuart Dyer and I am married to Penny, whose father, Robin Thwaites, took over the Model Village in 1969 and we bought it off him 2004 and we've been running it ever since.
It's nice to meet you. Do you find that you have enough on display in the Model Village, or are you looking to expand anytime soon?
Well, the Model Village itself is geographically restrained by the wall at the front and the boundaries around the outside. So we can't actually expand it in terms of making it larger, but what we tend to do is add more detail into the actual scenes. So we might do that by adding some figures or building a little part of a model, or in fact moving the trees and the shrubs around. So the garden is constantly changing because we're doing that all the time.
With each model set in the village, how long would it take to normally build? So this could be from the Shankinog village set to normal figurines.
Okay, good question. The figures themselves we have had made by a lady called Helen Woodhouse, who's based in Ventnor, and Helen would make a figure out of clay, and then Martin will then take that clay figure, take a rubber mould off of it, and then we will cast resin figures from that. So that can take, you know, a number of weeks depending on how long it takes individual people to individual tasks. In terms of, those figures are then painted up to give them some colour, so that takes a while. And generally we normally sort of cast maybe 3 or 4 of each figure, and then we'll sort of cut an arm off and move the arm slightly so they look slightly different, and also paint them different. So, and then we keep one in the storeroom as a spare. In terms of the houses, there hasn't actually been any new houses here since the 70s. They are the original houses. So the Godshill High Street was built in 1971-72, and the Shanklin Old Village area was actually the original part of the Model Village, which started in 1952. Building a house from scratch would take hundreds of hours, and we've never actually needed to do that because we've got just the right amount. We've added extra models in, like an airship, a wind turbine, a railway set up, an airfield, and that's sort of gone in over the sort of last 15-20 years, but we haven't actually built a new house. It's not to say that we won't, it's just a case of sitting down and thinking, right, how are we actually going to do this? Because a lot of these were done by skilled people many years ago, and it's not something you can just sort of have a go at. You want to get it right first time.
Are there any plans to build a new house or set anytime soon?
We've just redone the model of the model last year, which was ripped out and totally replaced back to tip-top condition, and then some of the gardens of Godshill High Street we've started to redo this year. So we took out a load of trees, the actual grass area, re-levelled it, put new grass down, we've put new trees in, and then we put hedgerows in. So we normally let that settle for a year or two, because if you move the ground around too much, then the trees that we have, they won't respond as like we want to. So we want to give them a chance to get the roots in, get the toes in, give them a year, and then we might add a greenhouse here or add a shed here, or you know, just pop something in that we think that will add value. Or add interest, or cause someone to take a photograph and their photograph be a little bit better because there's a shed in the background. Because we're constantly looking at it from customers' point of view. They come here and they are amazed at what they see because they've been to a model village before and it's not anything like this. And we want to make sure that we can keep that level of expectation and interest high. So we watch where they take their photograph from, and then think, right, what can we add in that scene that would make that photograph even more interesting? So it takes a while to watch what people do and how they respond to what we do, to then think, what's the next stage?
Okay.
We like to think that the customers know what they want, and then we watch them and then try and give them what they want. That's the plan anyway.
What appeals to you the most when working for the village, the Model Village?
Okay, good question. First and foremost is working for myself. When you spend a lot of time working for other people, you tend to think, well, I would do it differently or whatever, and eventually you want to spread your own wings. So that was one of the key things. The second thing was that I have had. I've been coming here since I was a child, because I grew up on the island, and we've been married over 20 years now, and we'd always wanted to sort of have first refusal on buying the business when the father-in-law sold up. So to actually have been given that opportunity and be able to take it was fantastic. So really that was the key thing, you know, being able to work for yourself and take on what was a real love of a job. It's been a passion of my father-in-law's, and we like to think that we've carried that on and taken it to another level, but I've treated it in the same way that he did, because we get a lot of people coming here each year, and they like to see it, and they expect to see it moved on in some way, like I mentioned earlier, and we feel that we're achieving that, and that's hopefully he appreciates that, and we can maybe pass it on to the next generation or whatever.
Okay. Are you happy with the model village's location in Godshill? Or do you think it would have been better off in a location like Newport, Shanklin, Ventnor, or anything like that?
No, I think it's where it is. It's perfect, really, because when you go into the garden and you look through our model of All Saints Church, which is up on the hill, you can see our model, the real church, and actually our model of the model and the model within the model of the model, and it all lines up beautifully, and it really couldn't be in a better location. Godshill is a beautiful little village. There's very few places like this in the country now. It's got all its sort of chocolate box little thatched cottages. It's got some lovely tea rooms and places, and the church on the hill. And it's a nice place to come and spend half a day, 3/4 of a day. And we think we add value to the Godshill experience by doing what we do and being where we are. I think if you're in Newport or Shanklin or Sandown, it wouldn't be Godshill Model Village, it would be something different. The unique thing about this particular model village is that it is a model of the location within it where it's set. The majority of the others out there are either made up or just sort of fantasy areas. So we are very pleased with what we've got. I'm very proud of it, and I really call myself the keeper of the keys, because sometime in the future someone else will take on the keys, so I think it's the right place for it to be.
Okay. Is there a good atmosphere in the model village for the workers, a good sense of teamwork?
We have an absolutely brilliant team. A business success is determined by one thing only, in my view, and that is the quality of the people you have working there. Fred and Martin and Ben, who work in the garden, Fred and Martin have been here 25 years plus each. Ben's been with us for a number of years now. The ladies who work in the gift shop and also our little catering facility have all been with us for anything from sort of 15, 16 years to 4 or 5. And it's nice that we have very little staff turnover, which generally tells you that people enjoy coming back to work. It's a great place to work because 99.9% of our visitors are tourists. They're on holiday. They're in a good state of mind. So it means you're working alongside customers that are having a good time. And if we can add to that, then what's not to like?
That's very true. Thank you very much. It was
You're very
a
welcome.
great pleasure interviewing you.
Thank you very much.